Hello, you beautiful human. What I'm going to do today is run you through four little considerations that I have in my business that allow me to make money when I'm there, when I'm not there, that attract customers and clients. And before I get into that, I just wanted to tackle something that's been on my mind that came through a one on one call the other day, which was this little diagram over here. If you can see, that says attract, convert, deliver, and then up at the top left here it says pre-attract. So a lot of coaches, consultants, service providers, we're almost taught that we have to do all of those pillars when it comes to teaching, right? And I, for the longest time, like when I started Modern Maker, my own program, I did attraction, conversion, and delivery and pre-attraction all at once. So I was trying to teach people because LinkedIn was primarily where I came from. I've got an audience of 50,000 followers there now and so on and so forth. But when I ran my first cohorts or my first programs, I was trying to teach them how to actually attract and grow and build their audience, how to engage, how to comment, then how to convert and how to send DMs and do sales calls and spin up their calendars and all of that. And then also help them on the delivery side, like how to literally set up their programs and what happens when they hit scale, how do they hire, how do they fire, what happens when they have delivery problems and churn and the whole thing. And even before that, if I just remind you of the pre-attraction pillar, that's sort of like the positioning exercise that happens before being able to even attract and write a single bit of content. Like, who are you speaking to? What are you helping them do? On a much deeper level, the research and the nuances when it comes to actually finding your niche or finding your audience, finding all of that at a much deeper level. Or if somebody came through who already had an audience, what did we have to change in terms of that positioning to get them to make more while earning less, or speaking to the right person and figuring it all out. And what I realized along the journey is, at least for me, I always do like a little traffic light system where I highlight things in green that I love and I highlight things in red that I dislike, and then yellow somewhere in between. And I'm trying to figure out, can I turn the yellow into a green, or will it turn into a red and then we've lost it? So in that process for me, I realized that, even in my past when I had a 7-figure agency, we created dependencies, right? I think of it as the bottom of this little doodle here, where you've got two doctors and they're specialists in something. So if I could get on this side a document from Dr. A, and if I'm Dr. B, then I can do my job. So in this case, at the agency, we did a lot of web development and a lot of email marketing. So if somebody went to a brand strategist and handed me a report from that brand strategist that told me exactly what they did, then I could go and do my job. I could build them a website. I could do their email marketing. I didn't actually have to do all of that work for them. And the same was true when I became Dr. A and I found my Dr. B, where if I found, the client wanted to run some ads, for example, I just sent them to our ads partner or our SEO partner to go do all of that stuff, to fill up the funnel, fill up the little envelope of subscribers, and then give it to us to do our email marketing. Everybody ate, right? There was enough food for all of us on the table. And anytime I tried to turn my agency into a one-stop shop, I started making less money, right? Or I needed to hire, or naturally email marketing and web development did really well as a department and the rest did poorly because I, as a founder, wasn't energetically aligned. And the same was true in coaching, right? When I look at this little triangle here, I was on team convert. So when I assessed my services over Christmas or every year, I sort of realized, you know what? I love it when someone has like 5,000 or 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. They've already done the attraction piece. They know the pre-attraction, like who they serve. They've got their pricing and all of that. They are delivering, and they're, maybe they're capped and they want to add more digital products or whatever, build some leverage. Then I can do my bet, which is the green one that I've deliberately pointed with the color green. and I could do my part the best. So that conversion thing, that's what sets my soul on effing fire, right? Like, I could do my job because I didn't have to teach them how to grow. I didn't have to teach them how to deliver to their clients. I then got to dive deep into the conversion rabbit hole, which is what I want to talk to you about today, which feels more aligned. Because maybe you're looking at this thinking, I'm a coach, I'm a guide, I'm a consultant, I've got to do all of this stuff that doesn't really make sense. And when somebody comes with a growth comment or a delivery comment, I'm just like, oh, I'm dreading this call. And the coaches and the consultants who do really well, the big fish in the industry, also have teams, and they have team players who then, they send you down to do the bits that they don't want to do. In fact, most of them are front men, right, who do a lot of the marketing. So I decided I wanted to run a marketing-driven business that is focused on conversion. And basically what I'm going to do is run you through my happy little doodles and the 4 different things that I consider. So if we look at doodle number 1 over here, we've got LinkedIn and Instagram up at the top, we've got email in the middle, and then we've got YouTube, right? So for me, that is pretty much my content ecosystem. I call it the 1 post a day, which runs around these 3 things. Like, I tried doing TikTok, I tried doing Twitter, and I tried doing Facebook and all of this stuff, and my data personally showed me I was good at LinkedIn and I was good at Instagram, and that's what I'm going to stick to from my organic social channels. You have to pick whatever those are for you. Now, for the purposes of this video, because my green light is the word convert, I look at these little icons from the conversion lens. So when I look at LinkedIn, yes, I can grow, and I have grown, and same is true for Instagram, but I look at it from a conversion lens. What can I do in those social media platforms on a weekly basis that allows me to basically convert? And what do I mean by conversion there? Get them off the platform and into my email list. So what I care about when somebody comes to work with me, or when I look at my own data every week, is every Tuesdays and Thursdays, for example, on LinkedIn, I will write what I call a show post, and I'll drop a video down below so you can see my show posts. Those basically demonstrate what I do, similar to this video where I give people what happened, the insight behind something, and then naturally, because I'm just demonstrating, I have a call to action that gets them either to my newsletter or to my lead magnet, or to DM me or do something in the conversion wheel, right? So for me on LinkedIn, I might say, here's how I spun up an offer for someone, step 1, step 2, step 3. And then if you like what you see and you want to create your own offer, click visit my website down below, and you'll get an offer training, for example, and it's free and it's whatever, and it sends you to one of these videos. Now that is a conversion event. That is fascinating for me to look at. I don't care if the post got 20 likes or 200 likes or 2,000 likes or 1 like. I care how many people clicked on that link and then went to the next stage, which is the opt-in page to get on the email list, right? And when I work with clients, that for me, whether they're doing a wait list or a cohort or a lead magnet, those are the posts that I'm looking at that I find fascinating. And obviously when we look at this, there's always crossover, and you get to see we're not like imperfect or super perfect. We get to see where the crossover is. Like if somebody asks me a growth post question on LinkedIn, of course I can answer it. I've been there for 4 years and I will cross over, but I stick to my guns because that's where I am most aligned and I have the most fun working in. Then the second layer of conversion for me is email. And when I get someone on my email list, there's various things that we're going to talk about in a second, but basically I run story-driven campaigns to convert leads to customers to buy once-off products, and then turn those customers into clients, which could be like one-on-one or done for you or group coaching or whatever that may be, and that all happens through email. That is my jam. As I said earlier, like at the agency, I've done email marketing for as long as I can remember, and That to me is my favorite thing. That's my continuity. That's why people stay to be around. And I love reviewing people's campaigns and essentially looking at how much money do I make on email, and how can I multiply that? How can I leverage that? How can I increase the ROI and the MRR? And then the third component of conversion for me is YouTube within this ecosystem. So I am by no means a YouTube growth expert. I do not speak about attraction in YouTube. I am much more about conversion, right? So in my little one post a day ecosystem, YouTube is there to create depth, just like this video is doing. Because essentially when I get someone from LinkedIn or Instagram into my email list and I run campaigns, sometimes when I don't run campaigns, I can send them to long form YouTube videos like this. I also like Substack and like the long form written pieces as a writer as well to consume, because bingers are buyers, right? So if I can create bingeability and I can showcase my expertise by not using ChatGPT, using in fact doodles like these and talking for 10, 20, 30 minutes, people go deeper into that. And I cannot tell you how many times people have said, I've watched that YouTube video of yours and thank you for what you do, or this and that, or I've understood a concept. And that is the point of YouTube. It is to create depth in a one post a day ecosystem. And the YouTube people will tell you need case studies, you need this and that. Like, there is a way to convert on YouTube. But for me, because YouTube acts as a nurture layer in my ecosystem, sometimes it doesn't have a call to action because I've sent someone here via email. And that email, my cat just jumped on the table here, little Freddy. So you can see them in the background now. So because I've sent them that way, then they can come in and actually hit reply to the email, right? Not necessarily the YouTube video. Or I can convert straight from YouTube by saying comment down below and leave an offer, and I've done that. Now, the second step of conversion is this little doodle down below, where once somebody goes from LinkedIn and wants to enter your email, well, they've got to give you, in yellow, their name and their email. So that's an opt-in page. And I'm fascinated by how much conversion happens at the opt-in page. How is that opt-in page set up? And then when they get there, I always, if it's a lead magnet with a little YouTube video or something like that, what happens then in order to get that $sign pinging, right? That is essentially a funnel. And it could be a two-step funnel like this one. It doesn't need to be some Frankenstein funnel or something huge. Right? How can I get someone to literally give me their name and email? And the amount of times people have told me it doesn't work is surprising. They haven't given it to me because you're being too vague at the opt-in page. And then over here, right? Like, have they consumed a bit at the top? Have they bought something? And when they don't buy, what do those little 4 emails that you automate in the back do? So in my world, this is yellow because yellow is the lead magnet that you got, and then green is sort of, it could be a customer offer, something for $9 to $99 or whatever, and then this last one has a little bit of pink in it because that could be the first indication to your high ticket offer. So we've covered the content ecosystem. I've sort of briefly told you about funnels, and we won't get into the full breakdown of them, but I'm sure you've had a funnel, and one of my favorite ones is literally getting someone from LinkedIn to my featured section and booking a Calendly link. That in itself is a funnel, right? In my world, in fact, I've spoken about that funnel. It's generated 550K. People book something for $100. Now it's $250, and then I just ascend them over into my high ticket offer, and that is my best performing funnel to date. And it is literally as simple as that sounds, versus having customer funnels that ascend with order bumps and upsells, and that gets a little more complicated. But can you see how much, like, we've been talking for probably more than 10 minutes now on just conversion, right? Where being at the intersection of your interests is great, but being able to identify which pillar you belong in makes life so much simpler. Now, I spoke about the opt-in page and customers and clients, and this leads me to this part of my doodle here. So as you can see on the left hand side, we've got customers and then we've got clients. And to me, the difference between the two is customers are once off, they're short term, they buy something lower ticket maybe, or mid ticket, and then clients are people who have longer term relationships with you that could be working with you for 3 months, for 6 months, for 12 months. So there's customers buy information, whereas clients buy transformation. So that is what I would be putting in your mind as you see this. So for me, customers, like in my world, the most fascinating thing is getting people to a live workshop, because I love speaking freeform just like this, showing somebody or reading through a Google Doc, teaching them something, allowing them to create an action, and then ascending a customer from a workshop to become a client if they liked what they see. Those are my favorite customer offers. What I've also done is packaged the workshop replays and created digital products out of them. They're simply workshop replays. But other people I've mentored have products like templates or GPTs, for example. You can have like PDFs and ebooks and whatever it is you do. Like you have a bit of wisdom, you can package that and create customers. Where people have gone wrong, in my opinion, is they create products that are non-linear, i.e. they don't relate to your core offer. So I've seen a lot of people on LinkedIn sell like once-off prompts or hook templates or content templates, but they're actually a mindset coach or a business coach, and that has nothing to do with what it is their one-on-one is, and they wonder why people don't necessarily ascend. So for me, what I do is I look at my core offer and I take the first component of it. Like in my world, I teach people how to do a Google Doc offer in the first week. So if I grab that component and I sell that as a digital product, then somebody who has a Google Doc offer is likely to ascend wanting the next thing, which you can guess is a funnel, and then writing, right, content. So when you're thinking of digital products, don't just create random things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think if you're in the business of ascension and you want clients at the end of it, it should ascend into the next thing. So some other bits and pieces that I'm dabbling with now in the customer realm is GPTs, but not GPTs that necessarily do the work for you. You don't want to attract people who are dependent on your tools, who basically just get stuck after that. My biggest realization was my Calendly link on LinkedIn that has brought hundreds of thousands of dollars is people wanting a once-off game plan. Like, the rule is, in an hour, I can't physically give you everything I know, right? And many people said to me, you're crazy, you're undervaluing yourself. But that was the funnel, right? If I charge you $100 to $250, give you a game plan, that's what you have to do. Then you might, 10% of those people will ascend into the how, or what I call the fast lane. So when I create GPTs, I mimic that behavior. I'm like, if my GPT can create a game plan for you as I would and give you all of what you have to do, and then make you a fast lane offer, right? Like, would you like to do the game plan together over 12 weeks? That 10% is what got me to 7 figures last year, and what I'm going to be doubling down on this year to get to 2 million, right? So when you think of your GPTs in the customer realm, make sure that they are something that gets somebody to ascend. Otherwise, if you're happy with just one-off product, great. And then the other bit of conversion for me is, how do I get someone that bought a workshop, that got a product or a GPT or whatever? Actually, thinking about it, GPTs are products, so even simpler, into client territory and what that looks like. So again, when we looked at the beginning of our doodle, I am less interested in the delivery of it and more interested in the conversion of it. So when people come to me and we write our emails and we get in here, it's like, how can I get one-on-one clients, and how can I create or get group coaching clients, for example? Other ones that I haven't added are done for you, or equity partnerships and rev share offers and stuff like that. But those two are the most common when it comes to me mentoring other people. And those conversion events have their own way. So getting someone to buy one-on-one is much easier because it's proximity to you. Getting an existing client to convert into a higher tier of proximity or access, another act of conversion. Scaling a group coaching program. All of that stuff for me just sets my soul on fire. It tickles my brain in ways that fascinate me, want me to wake up to. And I've got friends that love the growth game and they're like, man, I hate what you do. I just want to help people grow on LinkedIn or grow on Instagram. Like, that's exactly why I send those people your way. Or I have people say, I love positioning. And I'm like, man, don't get me to do all that research. Go do it with so-and-so and then come back. See what I'm doing? And then basically, as we've said here, all of these, in order to convert, leads me to my fourth and final point of the video, which is running campaigns. So in my world, there's different types of campaigns. You can run social media campaigns, so on Instagram or on Facebook or LinkedIn. I've added Facebook because Facebook owns Instagram and that's where you run meta ads, which is what I do. But technically it's Instagram and LinkedIn for me, or whatever platform. When you run campaigns, people think that social media isn't where you sell. And I'm like, but that's where you run campaigns to get someone into your email list. Or you may not have an email list and you've been giving a lot of value, but now you're going to run a workshop. Now you're going to ask for a client. So over that period, and it doesn't have to be forever, it could be 1 week, could be 2 weeks, those campaigns that you run exist at a social media level. So it's up to you to decide. Like in my world, what I love doing is never really selling on LinkedIn where I have my primary audience, but I do twice a week get people from LinkedIn to my email list so I can run campaigns on email. The other thing I do is I run $10 a day on meta ads on Instagram by boosting reels that have a call to action that gets someone to buy something worth $9. Now that is a campaign in itself, right? Because it goes through the levers that we spoke about, right? It takes someone from the ad into an opt-in page, right? They give me their name or their email, they buy something, and then it triggers these emails. Or it gets them to the email list where I run daily campaigns, right? So in the way that I look at it, social in itself is a campaign. And the easiest thing that I do is running a campaign for a workshop like I did last week. I'm going to start telling people on social media I'm preparing a workshop, and if you want to get the details you can hop on my list, but I'm not going to sell anything, right? But that has to start 10 days before if I want to fill the spots. Then on the actual campaign itself, I care about, am I running a cohort, for example? Does it have a wait list? What do the emails look and sound like to pre-sell people into that? How do I get my existing email list to click on the waitlist button and then be prompted when the launch campaign happens? What do my sales pages look like when it is a customer offer, right? When it's a workshop, what does my workshop sales page look like? When it's a digital product, is it converting? Do I need to fix something? When do I pull the trigger? When it's a GPT, same thing. Like, what have I set up in terms of my sales page and my wait list? And how much percentage opt-in rate is happening? And is that good or bad? Those are the triggers that we look at inside of conversion that you should be checking if you are doing any of this yourself. And then the last bit of this is actually looking at the campaigns you're running. This little doodle. Are my leads turning to customers? Are they buying something once off? If they are not, there's something wrong fundamentally with my content. Are my customers turning into clients, right? Are they actually ascending, or are they just buying my digital products in my workshops? What do I have to change in my messaging in order to turn a customer into a client? And one of the biggest lessons I've learned is info buyers, people who buy, PDFs and ebooks and GPTs and workshops, don't respond in the same way as a transformational buyer. So how do I change that? And then people tell me they want to sell through sales calls, or they want to sell through webinars, or they want to sell through Google Docs. That's my jam. I treat those as conversion events. I sell through Google Docs. So if I'm doing a workshop, it's a checkout page. But if I'm selling a group or a one-to-one or a done-for-you offer, what does my doc look like? And what are those keywords? Like, that is the final invite, right? I've gone through all of this conversion, and then at last, I've heard so many nightmare stories of people going, I got ghosted, they didn't buy, they thought it was too expensive, and so on and so forth. That entire buyer's journey, for me, is what I absolutely love doing, and basically setting up leads to customer campaigns for clients and myself, and then customer to client campaigns with the docs. So just to summarize, we've sort of talked about the difference between pre-attraction and then attraction, conversion, and delivery when it comes to your programs. We all need all of those components, but hopefully it's given you a little bit of insight on what my favorite layer is, which is conversion. And if that isn't your jam, maybe who you need to hire, what you need to consider, or what you need to have in mind when you do those things. And then what actually you can double down on if any parts of this triangle work for you. I always talk to my fellow delivery friends about operations and capacity and all of that, even though there is crossover, because when I convert too much, it creates a capacity problem. But I talk to people, and then when my growth stagnates, I talk to people who follow the attraction piece, right? So that is it. To summarize the 4 levers, we've spoken essentially about conversion from a content ecosystem standpoint, from an opt-in and funnel standpoint. We've identified customers and clients, and then we've spoken about the different types of campaigns. So I hope that was useful for you and that you learned something. And if you have any questions, you can subscribe and comment down below, and I would be very, very happy to let you know what my take is on that. I'll see you in the next video.